Germany has had a very good time preserving their natural resources. A third of the land is left to be parks or wildland. What this does when you're all packed in on top of each other is it means that you can get away from everything and everyone really easily. You take a short bus ride, you're at a park. Or you can take a train and a short bus ride and you're in the middle of nowhere, despite being in the middle of, you know, more or less civilization. And then you can just walk around. Like, we walked a lot in Germany, and so we'd just be like walking along and we'd see a park and we'd just go take a detour through the park and walk around a bit and then come out, and it's just really nice. The other point is that architecture in America, like, if you're not inside of one of the east cities or inside of directly like one of these small town western cities, it's kind of dead, if we're going to be honest. Like, you have the McMansion, which is probably the most drab and boring thing. Like, it really makes Stalin's big concrete houses like cry because they're so awful. Not every house in America is like this, but boy, would it be nice to have some architecture, because the architecture from the 17th and 18th century in Germany is fantastic. I spent some time in Offenbach. I was there for like 4 or 5 months, and they have inside, like everywhere, Offenbach, Frankfurt, that whole area, they have just gorgeous Renaissance architecture. I don't even know what it's called, but it's fantastic. And then you go to Dusseldorf and you're like, what is even happening here? There's an L that is upside down. What is this? That, my friends, was the reconstruction of Dusseldorf. You can thank your American compatriots for that one. But no, like the old architecture that was there, great, and it really brings soul. Then you have the older places like Regensburg, where, you know, you're inside of a castle pretty much, and everything there is 400, 500, 600 years old, and like it looks like a fairy tale. And between like the fantastic architecture and whatnot, like, you don't even really feel like it is that cramped, even though it is. And I know a lot of areas in Germany are like a lot more industrialized housing now, but even having places that aren't so industrialized, really, like, it just rejuvenates you from having to deal with people packed in as tightly as that. They're very sincere. Whatever it is, they're sincere. If they hate you, you know it. If they like you, you generally know it. They're struggling with you, you know it. Christmas in Germany is freaking magic. Like, here in Utah, we have what's called a Christkindlmarkt, which is like one, if you were to water down what a lot of these, what some of the bigger cities have for a Christkindlmarkt. You have food stands, you have little toys that get made, you have Christmas decorations, you have like carousels and different rides people can go on. You have a whole bunch of those traditional German foods, which they do here, and they're fantastic. And you have like chocolate covered apples that they put little sprinkle thingies on and whatnot, like, and that just the whole aesthetic of being in like an old European town with all of these decorations up, with all these tiny little markets, and everybody talking, getting along. I remember talking to one lady at one of these stands, and it was right before I was going to go home, and I'm like, I just want to get everything because it's so cool. And the lady was looking at me as I was just struggling with, what do I get? I only have enough money for maybe 1 or 2 of these. And she's like, you know, like, you're still young. You have all the time in the world. You can come back and get them too. And I was like, thank you. I can finally let this go. She didn't make a dime that day, which is really sad for her, but it was really nice. Favorite foods in Germany, I'd have to say Müsli is fantastic. It's here in America, but I don't think it's as good here. They like to do things like chop up dehydrated strawberries, or you'll get European chocolates inside of them. Just fantastic. Clearly in Germany, you can't not talk about the sausages. In particular, there's a small sausage in a little town called Feucht that's, I think, to the south of Nuremberg. They just have like a little roll and these tiny little sausages in there, and they put a little mustard, and it's so good. Like the combination of the mustard and the sausages are fantastic. I couldn't tell you the place. It's just a little stand on the side of the road. Weisswurst from southern parts of Bavaria are also fantastic, though I always ate them with the case like a monster. I really gained an appreciation for sauerkraut in Germany, and I have started fermenting my own sauerkraut because of how much I came to love it. That and sweet pickles. So I had rabbit and cow tongue for Easter, and surprisingly good. Like, rabbit's really good. They say they taste like chicken. I don't know if it actually tastes like chicken. It tastes like rabbit. It's good stuff. Cow tongue, you got to take the surface off the top, because otherwise you're going to be tasting you're going to be like, the texture of the tongue of the cow tongue is going to make you hurl. But as soon as you get that off, cow tongue is delicious. Like, it is a really tender, when cooked right, meal. Like, it's really good. I love the history of Germany. Like, the history all of, like, the castles and monuments and the different celebrations that they do. They have over there where they'll celebrate defeats of castles, the sacking of castles, and they'll do it in fireworks. And so for one, outside of Rammstein, which I really wish I had gotten to, but everyone told me about afterwards, they have a boat on a lake and a castle up on the hillside. And so they will have fireworks shoot from the boat towards the castle, and from the castle towards the boat, as they're exchanging fire, simulating the whole thing. And it's like a big fireworks celebration, and it's really cool. And they have like the lighting of the castle and whatnot, but I really wish I was there so I could describe it better, because apparently they did something crazy where it's like a waterfall of fireworks coming from the castle when it was finally defeated. I didn't get to experience Oktoberfest. The general feel of the architecture. So in Europe, you have a lot more condensed housing than in America. In America, you have your quarter-acre, half-acre, full-acre lots where everyone has their houses on, or you have duplexes where multiple people will share, or multiple families will share a single house that's been separated off into smaller sub-houses. In Germany, you live on top of each other, and there's a lot of people that live on top of each other. And so they have apartment complexes that go 4 or 5 stories tall, and because of how close everything is, it could easily become incredibly claustrophobic. A German attempting to say squirrel, squirrel. An American attempting to say squirrel in German, Einhörnchen. We know how, like, squirrel is pronounced squirrel, right? Einhörnchen is squirrel in German. Stay you. Stay German. Like, you have a very proud and historied culture. You're good people. You really try to be good people, despite any failings that you may see.